Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the Negaraku and Universiti Malaya anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. To bless this ceremony, let us begin with the recitation of Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Yang berusaha, Profesor Dr. Zamri Razzi, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Student Affairs, Universiti Malaya. Yang berusaha, Dr. Surveyor Hasniati Hamzah, Director of Graduate Employability and Career Centre, Universiti Malaya. Yang berusaha, Encik Hirman Awang, Director of Student Affairs Department, Ministry of Higher Education. Yang berusaha, Encik Shahrizal Muhammad Sufyan, Executive Director, Strategic Human Capital Management, Khazanah Nasional Berhad. Yang berusaha, Encik Nazrul Aziz, Group Chief Strategy Officer, Talent Corp Cooperation Malaysia Berhad. Yang berusaha, Ms. Fanit Syara Kamfon, Alumni of Universiti Malaya. Deputy Deans of Academies, Faculties and Centres, distinguished guests, and all students. Welcome to the launching ceremony of Career Deep Dive Month 2024. I am Sophia and I'll be your MC for today. To begin our ceremony, I would like to invite Yang Berusaha Dr. Surveyor Hasniati Hamzah, the Director of the Graduate Employability and Career Centre, Universiti Malaya, to deliver her welcoming remarks. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam madani. A very good morning to our esteemed guests and students. My name is Dr. Hasniati Hamzah. I am Director of UM's Graduate Employability and Career Centre, GECC. Thank you for gracing this occasion and in joining our launching of the Career Deep Dive Month. I would also like to extend my appreciation to our industry partners, who are too many to mention, and the GECC team for their dedication and efforts in organizing this program. Thank you to our Job on Campus team as well. Thank you. Without your collaboration, this month's activities would not be possible. I am sure some of you may wonder about the significance of the title for the Career Month. Why is it called Deep Dive Month? The title was not chosen randomly. A brief overview of UM's DEEP model. On 7th August 2024, the University Management Committee, or JKPU, passed the UM Graduate Employability and Career Framework, or UMGECC framework. Forming part of UMGECC framework is the DEEP model. In essence, the DEEP model guides the career readiness of UM students according to their year of study. First year students will discover the concept of being career ready by being exposed to early career planning and GECC's role in providing career resources. First year students must open LinkedIn account if they have not opened one before joining UM. They will also be strongly encouraged to sign up with MyNext and discover their career pathway by doing MyNext psychometric test. First year is not too early to think about your future career, especially in the context of the current competitive job market. It was revealed in 2023 that there's about 50,000 new high-skill jobs to be offered to approximately 300,000 graduates. Think about this, and you will understand why we at GECC are doing our best to equip UM students with the skills and knowledge that would set them apart from their peers in other universities. Second year students will explore the career tools and services that they have been exposed to in year one. During our visit to LinkedIn Singapore, we were told that it would take an average of 5.2 months from initial connection to the job start date. It is important to manage your personal branding, which GECC can teach you with the help from experienced speakers from the industry. So if you have a LinkedIn account, this is when you start to expand your network by seeking people from the industry that you are interested in. First year students are expected to get ready for internship. Final year students, sorry about that. Final year students are expected to get ready for internship. Thus, final year students should engage with the industry. At this stage, students should be more active on LinkedIn, posting about final year project and engagement with guest lecturers from industry, commenting on their connections posts. After discovering, exploring, and engaging, hopefully UM graduates will find placement with industries that offer good jobs and good salary. Thus, we have D, discover, E, explore, E, engage, and P for placement, giving us the DEEP model. The career, thank you, bro. Thank you for that. The Career Deep Dive Month signals the implementation of the DEEP model in UM, which we hope will bring positive impact on UM graduates' employability. The presence of esteemed organizations, Khazanah Nasional Berhad and Talent Corp, in today's event reflects the growing importance of strong industry-university collaboration in preparing future leaders, while overseen by Ministry of Higher Education. A shout out to Talent Corp, who is very generous in sponsoring today's goodie bags. Thank you, Talent Corp. We are grateful for the insights and opportunities you will provide to our students, allowing them to better understand the demands of the working world and what employers are looking for in graduates today. Over the course of this month until 10 November, our students will benefit from a diverse range of activities. We have career talks, workshops, one-on-one mentoring sessions, and networking events with industry leaders. Yesterday, we had Career Kit at Maybank Day in KPS, where Maybank organized a career preparatory workshop, walk-in interviews, blood donation drive, and a few other activities. The turnout was very good. I was made to understand it's about 200 something, 213 students, 240, yeah, so it's quite good for one day. The turnout was very good, and hopefully all other programs will be similarly popular. The Career Deep Dive Month, or CDDM programs, are structured to cater to students at different stages of their career preparation, whether they are first-year students just beginning to discover career services, or final-year students actively preparing for the future careers. As the grand finale, GECC will organize 3 MyCPP programs simultaneously in Port Dickson. MyCPP, or My Career Personality Profiler, is UM's signature initiative aimed at enhancing students' employability by improving soft skills, including communication, creativity, leadership, and also teamwork. So as the director of UMGECC, my hope is that every student fully engages with the opportunities presented during CDDM. You may find more information about CDDM on our website, gecc.um.edu.my, our social media, whether on Facebook or Instagram, um.gecc, and also please on LinkedIn. This is your time to gain knowledge, build professional networks, and refine the skills that will give you a competitive edge in your chosen career. I encourage you guys to ask questions, participate actively, and most importantly, to take responsibility for your career journey. In conclusion, I believe that Career Deep Dive Month will not only provide our students with a career direction, but also empower them to take proactive steps towards achieving their professional goals. To our students, seize the moment, make the most of the resources available, and remember that your career is in your hands. I look forward to seeing growth and success stories that will come from this month. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hasniati, for your warm words of welcome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to invite Yang Berusaha, Professor Dr. Zamri Radzi, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Student Affairs, Universiti Malaya, to deliver his officiating speech. Please welcome.
Thank you very much, Oya. Oya is the nama yang kita biasa panggil untuk Sofia. Untuk pengerusi yang kita ada pada pagi ini, yang kita di Dewan yang istimewa ini, This very morning is very special indeed. Adalah satu pagi yang sangat istimewa. Why it is istimewa? Because we gather for big names. Ya, 4 orang tokoh yang dari kumpulan giant, dan dari sekalian yang giant itu mereka adalah giant di dalam organisasi tersebut. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are very fortunate, my dear everyone here, because we have someone here yang di bahu beliau menggalas tugas yang besar di satu kementerian yang besar. Kementerian itu adalah Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi, dan di bahu beliau, under his watch, under his direction, under his directorship, he formulate the plan, execute and ensure the plan according to the plan. Yeah? So he actually is the one responsible to ensure that the students progress, not only welfare, but also development, and eventually the fruits of it will see in the next many years to come. So that is his job. Dan dia membawa orang kuat dia di tengah itu. Terima kasih Encik Acap kerana datang, ya. Tetapi orang yang saya sebutkan ini adalah di depan daripada Encik Acap. Ya. Kita panggil dia Encik Acap, tetapi orang yang ada di depan kita, yang ada bersama kita adalah Mr. Hirman Awang. Thank you very much, Cik Hirman. A big round of applause to Encik Hirman. Kita belum selesai lagi cerita tentang Cik Hirman. Pada hari Minggu ini kami di bawah naungan Cik Hirman akan ke Tawau, akan deep dive. Ya, akan deep dive. Selebihnya cerita tentang Cik Hirman, you need to find out, because very soon, if you didn't prepare the question, you would be able to follow the deep dive of his. Yeah, so you need to prepare those. This is very important indeed. Dan bersama kita ada satu giant. Giant ini sangat besar dan dihormati not only at our national level, but always people at the international level are those who actually salute and respect this organization of ours. There is a group, very wealthy group, and offer lots of scholarships. People know about this organization only because of scholarship, but there is only a small portion of their role. To know more, you need to ask them. And we thank you, our group chief strategy officer. Yeah, we thank you, executive director, head of strategic human capital management. That is the position, very long position. Yeah, that is a very long position, and from very big organization, that is Khazanah Nasional Berhad. Thank you very much, Mr. Shahrizal Muhammad Sofian. Cik Shahrizal, terima kasih. Hari ini kita akan kenal Khazanah lebih dekat, ya. Walaupun sebelum ini dekat di mata, tetapi tidak juga dekat di hati. Hari ini kita akan dekatkan di hati, ya. We have an organization under, people associate this, sometimes orang tak tahu, people didn't know that this is under the umbrella of one big ministry, and that ministry is the Ministry of Human Resource. Dan organisasi ini ever willing to help and always plan for the talent development, dan nama dia pun begitu, ya. And this very person, important person, bukan orang biasa, adalah group chief, group besar kan, chief besar juga, okay, strategy officer of Talent Corp group of companies. Thank you very much, Encik Nazwa Aziz. Thank you very much for being here. Beberapa hari yang lepas kita melakarkan satu poster, di mana kita tulis poster itu Uniquely Lady. Uniquely Lady, because we put in the unique ladies. Yeah. So the first ever in the history, the chancellor. You know who is the first lady chancellor in our university? The late Sultanah Bahiyah of Kedah. Yeah, is the first chancellor of ours. Siapakah? Who is the first lady pro chancellor? Respected Tuan Puan Aisyah Ong. Who is the first vice chancellor lady of Tan Sri Datuk Professor Rafiah Salim. Who is the first lady dean of Siapa yang tahu lady dean of From Faculty of Education, anyone knew? Came all the way from Singapore at the time. Prof? Mungkin Lady Dean, ya? Lady Dean of Education, I believe. But maybe I should correct if someone contested later. This is not official from this is from me. But I believe Professor Ruth Wong. I believe, yeah? So that is the first dean, a lady. And then, who is the first lady graduate of This lady graduate of went to MCKK. You know, the MCKK is the only Malay boys. Is the only Malay, this is only male boarding school. So the first lady went to the only Malay boys boarding school. So the late Zahra Mahmud was the first graduate lady of But today is very important for because we have someone with vast experience to share with every one of us here. The first lady MPP president of Miss Fani. Thank you very much for coming here. Yang kita hormati, ada bersama kita pada hari ini adalah Timbalan-Timbalan Dekan, Ketua KPP Hal Ehwal Pelajar, ya, Encik Rozaini. Kita ada Ketua daripada pengerusi daripada sekalian Kolej Kediaman, Encik Mizra, thank you very much. Kita ada Timbalan Dekan daripada Engineering, Timbalan Dekan daripada Education, yang mana walaupun mereka sibuk tetap bersama kita pada hari ini. Thank you very much for being here. And also, hey Prof, thank you very much as well. Thank you for coming here today, yeah, for joining us. Dan juga all the graduate employability coordinators, thank you. Your role is very important. And also everyone here from various years yang ada bersama kita pada hari ini. And this, kenapa kita perlu make it obvious of Deep Dive Month? This is the holistic program that went through a lot of scrutiny. So, devised by the team led by Dr. Hasniati Hamzah. Shall we give a big round of applause to our director of GECC? Assisted by, kita panggil secara mesranya adalah Nap and Nash and the whole team. Thank you very much. So, yesterday we were in Singapore. We were in Singapore at the NUS golf tournament and also academic month. So we were there. We just realized how respected is in the eyes of NUS. We were well received, not only well received by the NUS, but also received respectedly by the President of Singapore, who is also the Chancellor of the National University of Singapore. Many may not aware the long history of ours, yeah, that Singapore once, the NUS, once was University of Singapore, and prior to that was part of University of Malaya. So I bought books yesterday that one of the most genius boy in the history of Singapore decided not to attend MIT, but to attend in Singapore, and now became one of the richest in Singapore. That was the standard of that has been set by generations before. So Encik Irman mentioned just now, the task of every one of us today is harder than before. Kalau yang masuk ke ini, enter leave of the same quality and same material, then we fail. We fail because what we need to have, the moment you enter we escalate every one of us to reach the level that you can do. You can deep dive and be successful on your own. That is what happened to generations before us. But we need to do better. So, I believe that the program, that's why this is important. Again, I have not answered just now. But what I want to tell you is the story. For this, after plan scrutinized by Dr. Hasniati, we have to present it to the Jawatan Kuasa Pengurusan University. So we were asked so many questions, yeah? And then, after we passed through that level, we presented at the LPU, Lembaga Pengurusan University, again asked by all the board members. Then after that, now we are able to be here to officiate this. But what is more important is today. Today, after we had a great sessions yesterday with Maybank, today we are going to have a forum chaired or moderated by Mr. Muhammad Faiz. Yeah, yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad Faiz. And the panelists, Faiz, thank you very much. Mr. Faiz adalah daripada Ministry of Human Resource, ya. Ya? Faiz, saya ingatkan Faiz dah kerja sekarang. Belum, ya? Oh, okey. Salah. Faiz, nampak macam dah ministry punya ni. Okey. That shows how caliber our student is. Right? When you look at the person, you already can tell. But we are very proud of you, Faiz. Yeah. So all four will be with us. That is only the beginning. I have 7 pages or 8 pages long to be read. And it will take 1 hour and a half. I will read each and every sentence. This is what Nash wrote. Yeah? Nash wrote like this. GECC, thank you for being here. Thank you. Yeah? The importance of career planning, my friends. We just had a chat just now. The role of GECC is actually to provide, to guide, not only the last semester when you are about to leave about the career, but to actually plan from the day one you enter this particular Menara Ivory Tower, so that you know the path that you want to take. The path can be very many paths, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Eventually you decide which one is better for you. Yeah. Therefore, although being asked by Mr. Herman, very important to come up with the data about graduate employability. Yeah. We need to score higher percentage all the time. And now we are quite good, but need to do better. But for especially, by Herman, it is even important for us about the salary scale that you get. Yeah? But you know very well, you yourself know very well, if you're being offered 10,000 or 20,000, but you feel like the 10,000 one will provide you more experience and will lead you better later, then you choose which one is better. So there are many ways of looking at how we create our path in terms of career in life. But today you will get first-hand information by the giants. So that's done for the half page. I have the title of Importance of Career Planning. Prof. Has, I will read this, Prof. Has. 2023 graduate tracers to 90.8% for UM. Congratulations, and we need to do more and better. So, then again, how many of you know about GECC? Not many, right? Very soon you will know GECC because it will be more visible. When the new GECC office will be right in front of the foyer of the library, that you can immerse without borders. When you read books and you feel bored, no, your eyes are quite tired, then you get to meet the team from GECC and many more giants from industry to have a chat first-hand information, one-to-one. That is what University UM should do, and we are doing it. Yeah. So we share how the GECC of NUS doing, and I know that Prof. has a very good ingredient from both top university in the world of how and what they are doing. Ladies and gentlemen, I received a note by Dr. Haas saying that, Prof, that's enough. It is okay if you didn't finish off that 7 pages long. But I would like to say that in the eyes of Ministry of Higher Education, this SKPG tracer study is very important. So for UM, please, we beg you, yeah, when you graduate, please fill in the SKPG. We need your data, because by doing so, you help UM to provide the true information. We know that you are doing well, but if you didn't fill the form, how do they know, and how do we know? Wherever you go, fill in. We know that some of you may need to leave the country sometimes because greener pasture abroad. We know that some of you decided to stay because of national responsibility, and but wherever you go, higher, please fill in the form. Ladies and gentlemen, deep dive means a lot more, and it requires a lot more time, but we'll share with you a lot later. And Nak and Nash, thank you for the script. We'll share the script, and Dr. Haas, thank you for the script. These are the pages that I didn't manage to read, but trust me, all this is actually to tell about how good you are and how better you will be very soon after you go through this. But to tell you the truth, something by Uncle Aziz, we didn't know what you didn't know. We need to know what you didn't know. Then we'll both know what we know. Jadi, maklumkanlah apa-apa yang perlu untuk dilakukan oleh UM dan GCC. Because sometimes we didn't do something that we feel that you already knew about it. But tell us what we should do so that we can do better, and we both do better. With that, these deep dive months will go deeper. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Zamri, for your inspiring remarks. Kindly remain on stage. We would now like to invite Dr. Hasniati to accompany Professor Dr. Zamri on stage for the officiating ceremony of the Career Deep Dive Month.
Okay. Semuanya plan. Everything is planned. Yeah. So as the career plan, yeah. Letak tangan di sini. Look at this, The moment we put this here, something will happen. Yeah. Okay, sekali lagi. Not the first time went according to plan, but the second time better. Thank you.
With that, the Career Deep Dive Month officially begins. Thank you, Professor Dr. Zamri and Dr. Hasniati.
Thank you. And Oya, we thank all the panelists of this Innovating University Education Industry Relevance for being here. The Vice Chancellor can send his warmest regards. Thank you for being here today. Thank you all, and thank you all the industry supporting this event. Thank you. Thank you. I salute you. Thank you.
Now, we proceed to the much-awaited forum on innovating in university education for industry relevance. But before that, for your information, we are also streaming on YouTube. So a warm welcome to our viewers there. Thank you for your participation. Your presence enhances our event. Now, I would like to invite the forum panelists to take their seats on stage. Please welcome.
And to make Faiz comfortable, I shall be outside. Thank you. Shall we give another bit of round of applause?
Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning everyone. Semua semangat lagi ke? Okay ke? Macam tak ada tenaga je. Alright, so I think we had a very energetic speech by Prof. Zamri just now. So, I think Prof. Zamri already did the moderator's work lah. Dah perkenal semua panel kan. But never mind, I'm just going to go through very quick and very brief just to get, to deep dive all the panelists' background in detail and what their extensive experiences altogether. So the first one on my left-hand side, it will be Mr. Hirman Awang. Is a higher education student advocate who promotes student empowerment, welfare and well-being. Mr. Herman is currently the head of Yayasan Perkasa Siswa, Ministry of Higher Education, an organization that works to develop students who excel academically and in other areas. So give a big applause to Mr. Herman. All right, ladies and gentlemen, not only from government body or government agencies, we do have industry players over here together with us. Next to Mr. Herman is Mr. Nazrul Aziz, Group Chief Strategy Officer from Talent Corp Malaysia. Mr. Nazrul is currently the Group Chief Strategy Officer, where he oversees the strategy and development together with alignment of the organization. He works collaboratively with key stakeholders across industry, academia, and government to develop and execute demand-driven talent to meet the current and future talent needs of the country. And prior to the Talent Corp, Mr. Nazrul spent 18 years in the public sector. And Mr. Nazrul also holds a Master in Business Administration from University of Science Malaysia, together with Bachelor of Science Business Computing from University Technology Mara. Big applause to Mr. Nazrul. All right, next one, we do have, I think Prof already did also quite good in terms of explaining who this figure is. So Mr. Shahrizal is the Head Strategic Human Capital Management and Executive Director of Khazanah National Berhad. Mr. Shahrizal Muhammad Sufyan joined Khazanah in July 2024 with over 29 years of experience in leadership roles with the consulting and corporate sectors. Mr. Shahrizal has a distinguished track record in HR, interventions, as well as mergers and acquisitions. Before joining Khazanah, he was a partner at Deloitte Southeast Asia, focusing on human resources, transformation, and strategic talent management. He has also held senior positions at Korn Ferry in Indonesia and Malaysia, Hay Group Malaysia, Petronas, IBM, and several leading Malaysian banks. And Mr. Shahrizal holds 2 Bachelor of Administration degrees, one in marketing from University of Texas, and one in finance from the University of Oklahoma. Give a big applause to Mr. Shahrizal. Panjang background seorang-seorang. I've been provided with the background, so I need to read all of those. So bear with me, please. So with 4 guys combination, gladly we are fortunate to have one girl over there. One female in our panelists is Miss Fanit Shara Kampon. Miss Fanit is a PMP certified manager with over 6 years in digital procurement and strategic project management. As head of products at Procure here, she has driven significant profit increases and optimized processes. And together as the alumnus of University Malaya, she is also the vice president of the Perdana Fellows Alumni Association, advocating and actively promoting youth employability and empowerment initiatives. And as mentioned by the Prof just now, Ms. Fanit was the first female MPPUM president. All right. I think it's good to have Ms. Fanit here because now in this week we have this election campaigning going on. So yeah, perhaps you can share whatever experience you had back then together now when you are in the industry. All right. I'll conduct this session in dua bahasa lah, bahasa Melayu and English. So we'll mix in both languages. We also will open questions at the end of the session. So before we go through all of you, I do have list of questions first, okay? So the first one, I think straightforward to the left-hand side, to Mr. Herman. Perhaps, how does, when we talk about the university itself, as what Dr. Haas mentioned just now, UM has its own framework of deep dive, discover, explore, engage together with placement at the end of the day. But in ministry role, how do you see ministry's plan to bridge the gap between traditional academic learning together with the industry relevant needs? So what say you?
Testing. All right, thank you, Faiz. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to all. Um, Herman from Ministry of Higher Education, in charge of Students Affairs. So when you call Students Affairs, everything under the sun involving students is under my care. For your information, we have around 1.2 million students in Malaysia right now pursuing their degrees, master and PhD in 20 public universities, more or less 400 plus private universities. So that kind of number that we're looking at the ministerial level. So for UM itself has around 30,000 students, perhaps. Okay, so that's why when Faiz said university has its own framework, definitely, because at ministerial level we're looking at a larger and bigger data. The total enrollment is about 1.2 million students, and we have to make sure this 1.2 million is taking care better in terms of their employment by their respective higher education institutions. By the way, dalam bilik ni ada pelajar antarabangsa ke?
Any international students? Or
Tak ada.
locals?
Okay, then we can freely talk. Because sometimes dia ada beberapa ayat-ayat yang perlu digunakan dalam bahasa Melayu supaya lebih sampai. Saya pun dah cakap bahasa Melayu macam bahasa Inggeris ni. Okay, and secondly, I'm happy to be invited to this forum. It's always good to be back to the home. Okay, and this hall is very familiar to me, definitely. Okay, so to answer what Faiz has asked me, at ministry level, I think not many notice that we already have graduate employability strategic plan 2021 until 2025. Basically, in this strategic plan, we lay out every single initiative and single strategy plus activities to be followed by higher education institutions. But I do believe not many of us aware about the existence of this strategic plan. And this strategic plan comprises 4 main activities. The first one is basically we would like to make sure the talent is well nurtured by all higher education institutions. Second, we would like to see expansion of career by our graduates. The third one, we would like to make sure every program, every academic program, teaching and learning program were skewed directly to the employment of our graduate. And last but not least, we are speaking about industry. That's why we are here today. We are speaking about industry. We want to make sure there are empowerments of industrial relations exist in every higher education institutions. So what do? We provide policies. We provide guidelines. We plan. We do mention some activities for higher education institutions like to follow. But definitely, it has to go and it has to be depending on the university's demographic. Because as you all know, our public universities are categorized into few categories. First, like research universities. Like is part of the research universities. We have comprehensive universities, we have niche universities, like MTON. If you're familiar with MTON universities, Malaysian Technical University Network, we call it. So there are few universities inside it. University Malaysia Perlis, University Technical Melaka, University Tun Hussein, UTHM, UTM, for example. So this kind of specific and niche universities, definitely they need to customize their graduates' employment plan or policies to suit their demography and the program at each higher education institutions. So, but sometimes we realize there are few aspect or few field that are not well catered by the higher education institutions, and that's why in some segments ministry take the spearhead initiative to become the champion of that agenda. For example, in capital market industry, from our study we see not every higher education institutions emphasizing specifically on capital market. So what we do, we engage security commissions to provide more depth training to our graduates to cater that industry. Because for your information, if we do not do any intervention for our capital market industry, basically the gap will become wider, and the seniors in the industry will leave the industry, and no one to take over our capital market industry. That's how we see it. So from helicopter view, we see which industry needs to be intervened for some actions as such. So security commissions has agreed to collaborate with the ministry, and we have this very specific name invested to promote capital market industry, as well as to give more information, knowledge and training to our graduates. And we aim to produce 9,000 graduates with a very depth knowledge on capital market. So that's how we do. So at first, we define and we prepare a policy for all higher education institutions, and later we do study if there are any field or any segments or any disciplines that need some interventions, the ministry might go to it directly and work with industries definitely. So that's all for now, Faiz. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Herman. Okay, just to add point, when Mr. Herman said and give the example of Invested, I'm currently undergoing the Invested Leadership Program. Despite of being a Khazanah scholar, I also selected as the Invested Leadership Program, monitored by Securities Commission. Currently undergoing placement internship for 6 months at CIMB Investment Berhad.
So Khazanah should be worried.
CIMB is the subsidiary of Khazanah as well.
Yeah, I see.
But no worries. I think it's a good program, and la promo it. I think for those who final year, you should be getting your eyes into the next cohort of the Invested program. And there are massive initiatives by the Ministry of Higher Education together with the industry that open such traineeship or apprenticeship for the students as well. So moving on, but please bear with me, whatever I'm saying here, not representing my company. I'm currently in the cap of final year student of economics at University Malaya. So moving on to another government agency, I think Talent Corp, Mr. Nazrul. We're talking just now, Mr. Herman gave comments from someone who directly deals with the graduate employability program. But in Talent Corp case, as the one that not deal directly with the university, but under Ministry of Human Resource, how Talent Corp sort of like collaborates in this situation to bridge such gap in this issue. So any initiative perhaps Talent Corp has offered so far?
Thanks, Faiz. When Herman shared about the responsibility of KPT, and it's a lot because it's not easy managing all these institutions, and then we have 1.2 million population students. In the context of Talent Corp, we look at even macro perspective because we are not at high. We are talent segment of all spectrum. And of course, we need to look at the whole pipeline because if you look at the professional space, whatever gap happening in our current professional space, it actually started from the earlier point of the pipeline. And people always go to higher education because that's the easy target, because that's the immediate point before employment, right? But actually, it's even earlier than that. It's the education space in school. So from Talent Corp perspective, we look at macro perspective. We work across ministries. While everyone is working on their respective verticals, we work horizontally across the dots. So we need to connect all the dots. We are working with Ministry of Education to create awareness for the kids actually to understand what is the demand of the future. I mean, you guys come from national school system, right? I mean, most of you, right? When did actually you make your first career choice? If you can remember, there was like maybe 6, 7 years back, right? I mean, in our education system, we have that streaming when you are entering your Form 4. So you are choosing whether you are pursuing art stream or science stream. For science stream students, okay, if you feel that you are not tailored for science, then you can always go back to arts. But if you're already into arts, it's very hard for you. I mean, it's doable, but it's very hard for you to go back into science. How many of us actually making that decision consciously? Or whether we are just pushed by our parents, or whether we are just pushed by our teachers, the school, because of the availability of the class, or whether we just follow our peers. So the thing is actually, we need actually to educate and advocate that at that point, you need to have that career mindset ready because that's the beginning of the pipeline. So we are going to school to advocate to parents, teachers, especially the school counselors, to understand what is the demand of the future. So in our critical occupation list, occupations like animation and gaming, cybersecurity has come into the list. But if we ask any parents that a kid would like to do or pursuing their education in gaming, for example, how many of parents will agree to that? Because of the lack of the exposure. So we are going there, we are creating awareness at school level. And then after that school level, then we start the graduate space. And it's very good, this deep program is very good because that's the whole idea of this career planning. So when Talent Corp comes in, initially, I mean, we also learn along the way. So when we started engaging with students, last time it was always at the finishing school stage. Unfortunately, it's too late. So again, we move up earlier. We are starting at starting school. We have agreed with ministry that, okay, Talent Corp will take from starting school until internship. And then after that, when it goes into employment, professor will take
Perhaps you can raise your hands.
First year? Okay, good. Okay. Yang final year, how many of you really plan for your career? You have a clear purpose of where you are heading after this? If I ask you, do you have in your mind now what will potential organization that you would like to join immediately after you have graduated? Can you name 50 of them? 50. Because once you have graduated, I mean, this is a hard statement, but once you have graduated, you'll be one of the papers. Because there's a lot of vacancies. Recently, World Bank actually highlight a very strong statement. We are not creating enough skilled job in the country. So we are producing graduates at a compounding rate of 6%. 2024, 2023. 2023, we are producing about 280,000 graduates. The number of skilled jobs created in that year is just near to 50,000. So what I'm saying is that we just need to be fluid. I'm not saying that it's all dooms, but there is opportunity. What I want our students to have in mind is actually the fluidity. So we are currently conducting impact study for this, impact study of AI, digital, and real economy to understand how this emergence trend, the imaging of these trends are going to impact our future workforce. And it's not just for you, it's also for us in front of you, the existing professionals. So we have identified that almost 700,000 will require reskilling. This is among the professionals. So what I'm saying is that the most important skill set that you need to sharpen now is actually your learning skill. University will provide you with the fundamental, but when you go out, it's the learning skill that will help you actually move up your career ladder, move from one position to another, pivoting. And last time, I mean maybe during our time, maybe the maximum shifting will be like shifting to other sectors, pivoting your career maybe will happen about 2-3 points. But in your case, you might start in career A, but you might end in career X. So that's the fluidity that you need to have in mind now. So Talent Corp is there actually to support, to provide you with all the information so that you can actually provide or you can actually properly plan for your future career. So in that context, to briefly share what we are doing, we are very huge in internship because internship is a platform for you actually to pivot into the workforce straight away. The full transition of the workforce, internship is the best platform. The reason why we are saying this because we know for a fact that I think maybe Kazana can confirm after this. While you are doing internship, you have that 4 to 6 month opportunity to prove yourself. And that's the best opportunity for you to show your capability. It's on you, right? It's on you because you can actually manage. It's within your control because you can show your capability to your potential employer. But once you have graduated, like I mentioned earlier, you'll be represented by your people. You'll be one of the candidates who send their CVs to the organization. Sometimes the vacancy is just maybe 5, but the applicants are thousands. So that's why we are promoting internship. In a big way because internship is the best opportunity, and we want students actually first year students, second year students. You should plan your internship earlier. Use your intelligence to find the insights of the potential employer. Check whether they are in hiring mood or not. Go and do your internship, one, with the organization that you can grow. Second, with organization that potentially can employ you. Because after that one, you are already in the workforce, you will find your way. The biggest challenge is always the transitioning from school to work. And this is where actually we play a role actually to cushion and soften that. But of course, it will require mutual commitment from the student yourself, from the university as well as from the industry. I stop there first.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cik Nazrul, on that comments. If I just want to share, I think this session is not only beneficial for the listeners, even for myself over here, up here. I think I'm keep reflecting on what could have been done better, what I have done so far. just to share, whenever Mr. Nazrul mentioned about internships, even currently I'm on final year students. I'm undergoing throughout 1.5, 5 months-ish to go for my compulsory internship now. I've done perhaps 3 internships already throughout since first year up till the final year of studies. So I think the key takeaway, one key takeaway that I can provide is whenever Mr. Nazrul mentioned or outpoint the term of learning skills, I think the ability for us as youngsters to learn, relearn, and unlearn is really crucial in whatever field we're going to pursue. So next one, I think I stopped Mr. Shahrizal first. We saved the best for the last. Because I think people are very eager to know what Khazanah point of view in this situation. I pivot the question first to Ms. Fanit, okay? So perhaps you want to share your experience, how well your university, the question here is your university, but I think how well did prepare you for the challenges and demands of the current role in the industry?
Thank you, Faiz. As the first question, that's the bit tricky question lah, kan. It feels good to be back in my alma mater. Definitely, some of the panelists here, Cik Nazrul and also Cik Hirman, is some of the familiar faces as well. Take it as an elder sister saying lah, kan. I just graduated about 7 years ago, so 7 years in the workforce. Not that much of difference with all you guys. If I have a younger siblings, might be around your age. If you ask me back then, or 7 years ago, where was we are not ready. That's quite an open blanket statement. We do have this kind of graduate employability center, but it was quite a minor role in HEP back then. And I think one good thing that have actually for the past 5 years, I can see a lot of high impact and a lot of reaching out to the industries to work together with them. And I love actually the fact that, we have in fact a whole month to talk about career, which is something that my batches, my peers, we don't have the access and also these kind of opportunities. We only have at our final year when we're about to go into our employment, where Chitra will provide the internship, personal branding and whatnot, just to cushion the impact before we go to the industry. So that was where I was back then. And just to, to reduce the impact of myself going into an industry, there's a lot of work that we have to do on our own to build our own personal branding. So I love how Dr. Hasniati in her speech just now, she said the importance of having personal branding. In fact, she encouraged all of you to have your LinkedIn account. And I echo to what Cik Nazrul said as well. The industry, the university can give you a base foundation of what you can do, but at the end of the day, the answer lies in you. So as an elder sister to all of you here today, whatever that you have in the class, no matter how the best universities or even, we bring out the whole experts in the industry come back and revamp the curriculum, it will never be enough for you when you go to the workforce. Because there's a lot of things, the industry change almost every single day, technology change every single day. 7 years ago, AI is just something that we talk about, and now it become a reality, and we have ChatGPT and whatnot. So whatever that you study in the class today, it will not be enough. So it's very important for you to go out from your classroom. Always go out from your classroom, and that's why I involve myself in a lot of leadership programs and end up becoming the president of To give you a perspective, I've graduated in degree Science Biotechnology, and I'm one of the prime example of what Cik Nazrul said, where you graduate in A and you end up in a career in an X, because right after my study, I was very involved in leadership programs, so enroll myself in Perdana Fellowship program. Going into research, political research line, before ending up in an IT company, I know nothing about coding. If you ask me today, I just know the name, Java, Python, but I don't code. I don't code, but I lead 30 developers in my company to code. You don't even have to learn about it. It's a skill set that you develop throughout the years in your university. And I truly love how our previous panelists, speak about the skill set of, you need to have something in you that you're always ready to learn, the growth mindset. Most importantly is to have the ability to adapt and becoming someone who are very resilient. The world out there is not so kind as your world in the university. What we know in the university is, our friends, and your friends, as much as you think that they will be there for you, but the moment you graduated, you take your scroll, everybody have their own life, and it's going to be a very lonely journey throughout your career programs. And I think all these three panelists here, 18 years in public sector, someone who are actually partner in Big Four, it's not an easy place. And if you ask what they studied, whether their study actually helped them to propel this far, I think it's a 50-50, right? And some of you guys also took MBA and pursue another level of professional certification, which for me, myself, I pursue a project management professionals. So all these certifications are something that university won't tell you. They won't tell you. So when you speak to the industry, it's also very important to ask the right question, the best question, so that you get the best out of this industry. And to have your career planning, because again, what you know is what you know. For me, myself, when I was in the school, if you look at my career list, I have long career list, I didn't achieve even one of them. I want to be a doctor, want to be, it's quite a random, at one point want to be an actress, or, want to be a stewardess. Then my mom say, if you die, you should die somewhere that we can see you, not up in the sky. So it's just a career choice, right? And then going into my matriculation, where somebody came, during my batch, this was our Perdana Menteri is Abdullah, Dato' Seri Abdullah. So biotechnology was massive. There's biotechnology was a very big thing. I got scammed into the vision that they painted at that point of time. Oh, biotech is a thing. 5 years after going through that program, 90% of my classmates, no one end up in biotech or science sector. 90% of my classmates. Everybody went and ventured into something else. And today, if I contact all of them, they are doing well, they are doing fine, their salary scale, I hope they are happy at where they are. But it's very important to know that your degree doesn't really matter when you go to your career, unless it's a specific degree, medicine, IT, you study economics, and you can go into khazanah and whatnot. But for courses that are a bit more generic, don't take it in a way that, oh, is this the end of my career? No. And that's why it's very important to have your personal branding. I'm so happy that we're having art therapy and whatnot. I mean, wow, this is amazing. And keep up the good job, and I hope that all of you can make full use of this program. Not like my batch, we don't get that. But I'm happy to be here to give back to the university. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Fani. I think just to be fair, because I was quite active as well in the student leadership, but not handling the student council, no, it's far away. But at least I think the awareness are there in the students' bodies, especially those in the faculties. The students are eager, very eager nowadays, even when they did like perhaps a conference or mini programs, even a talk show, they are eager to bridge with the university, with the industry players out there, just to serve the best, I don't know, perhaps knowledge or the best out of the best that they can took, the key takeaways from the industry. So moving on to our fourth panelist is Mr. Shahrizal from Khazanah National. So the question, I think perhaps everyone want to know about this as well, because your role is in HR, in recruitment process. So what are the most critical skills or competencies that current graduates perhaps lacking of, and how can universities address such gap? Over to you, Mr. Shahrizal.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. I was just listening to all the other speakers, and I realized that when you mentioned you graduated, how many years ago? 7. I graduated 30 years ago. Right? Most of you don't even exist, right? Because you're probably younger than some of my kids. Anyway, the question, I want to relay back just a couple of things, right? We talked about 1.2 million students, and on average, every year, graduate opportunities range between 60,000 or thereabouts. Statistically, that means 5%. You have essentially 1.2 million students to get 60,000 jobs. That's 5%, right? That means every time a HR advertisement comes out, you will get hundreds of CVs. Therefore, the statement around you becoming nothing more than a piece of paper and a photo, right? I hate to be a wet blanket, but that's the truth. The reason why I say that is because it is becoming even more competitive because the workforce is also getting younger, right? In a lot of organizations, most of the workforce, 55% of them are below the ages of 35. That means they've got a longer runway, okay? So again, to the point that Faiz talked about here is, what do people look for? People look for people with curiosity, right? And I'll tell you why. A lot of people, if I ask them, so what are you looking for? I'm looking for a job. That means I'm looking to be able to go and sit down in a corner somewhere, carry a business card that says executive, CIMB, Kazana, PM. I'll name all my investing companies for the time. But the question sometimes has always been, I think, the whether or not you understand that, as we talked about here in universities, what they are preparing you is a set of skills that you need to apply, right? Because if most of you go into the organization, with the exception of the technical subjects that you take, a lot of it is around how do you shape your thinking in terms of how you want to contribute to a company. As Faiz will soon acknowledge when he gets interviewed through Kazana, we never ask him, so what do you think about in 5 years? We want to ask you basically, so where are you going to look at with the regards to your contribution to nation building? And nobody asks that question. Nobody prepares you for that, right? So to your question, curiosity is a big thing. And I say that because, as I gave you the statistics about 60,000 positions, the one thing that I suppose is also something that we want you to consider is the fact that, kalau tengok tadi during the session, you had a lot of companies. You realize most of them are fairly old companies in the sense that they've been around for a while. Where are the startups? Right? Where are the people who basically now want to create their own careers, their own companies, right? And I say that because, again, I've been fortunate enough, again, to be in several different places. Sometimes the question here is, do you want to find a career in an organization, or do you want to contribute to the economy more directly by having your own companies? 6 of you sit inside a room with different degrees. Guess what? You're setting up a company already. It is whether or not you have wawasan. If you're looking at a startup environment, sometimes you just basically have the person with the idea and the company that they want, a technology person, if it's basically going to help you drive how you're going to set it up, a strategic planner who basically is either an economist or somebody who's used to it, a finance person who basically talks about how you model it, right? And basically somebody with enough educational or marketing to be able to sell or find the product, and a 6th person sometimes who has the background to set up the organization. So 6 of you with those various degrees sit down and you really try this and get some seed funding. Eventually you go into this program called Dana Impact that Kazana hosts, and basically you get funding, and next thing you know, within a few years, you have now created not just to the employability, but to the economy, right? So I wanted to use this just to kind of like set the expectation, because again, I think this country of ours, we have a lot of opportunities that have been yet untapped. And one of the reasons for that is because I think the mindset that we all have is, I need to find a job when I graduate, right? So again, very quickly, when I was Well, I wouldn't call it lecturing because I don't want to offend the professors here. Uh, when I was teaching in Berkeley for one of the programs, one of the things I realized, a lot of the students were already about to launch IPOs. Ini 20-something students. They're launching billion-dollar IPOs. And I felt, alamak, what happened to me? Even though I'm fairly comfortable. But a 27, 26-year-old is about to launch a multi-billion-dollar IPO, and it was all around forex management in terms of making it through accessibility to technology, right? Now, why can't we bring that here, right? And I think that's why, as I said, while we talk about careers here, I'd like to be able to push back to some of you to say that, you know what, make your brand, whatever, daripada you nak congkil kerja mana, and we're happy to have you talk about that, but really think about at the end of the day, why can't you be amongst those that will say, can we send students to you? Okay. But it comes back to the basic standpoint of, are you curious enough to be able to understand what that organization that you want to work with will do for you beyond giving you salary, benefits, EPF, development, cuti. Boleh kerja kat rumah? Tak boleh. Right? But again, as I said, those are some of the things that I want to push back sometimes because, as I said, the more you look for organizations inside here, the more you also discount your ability to become something more than just an employee, right? So again, maybe I'll just stop there and see whether everybody else has questions.
All right, sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Sharizal, for tapping onto different angle of today's discussion. So I'll pause all of us over here, perhaps open. I do have second round of the questions, but perhaps we open first. Any questions from the floor? Want to point to any of our panelists? Ada ke? Boleh angkat tangan? Malay boleh, English boleh. We'll go with both. Ada ke? Belum ada. Oh, okay, ada. All right. Perhaps we can have a mic. All right. All right. So, your name, sir? You can just call me Chen. Thank you. Chen. All right. Thank you so much. From which country are you from? Japan. China. I'm sorry. It's far away over here. Sorry. Okay. So Chen from China. Any panelists wanna?
Okay. So if you're talking about industrial placements, if you're talking about there, organizations basically look more towards the individual, right? I think I will admit, there aren't that many that we get often to be able to do that, but we have actually, I do know that our investee companies, as well as I guess to some extent some parts of Khazanah, do actually take industrial placements, because again, sometimes it's about offering the opportunity, right? And I think that is agnostic of citizenship or nationality, right? But again, it comes back to whether or not you bring with you a brand that we want to be able to be interested in.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sharizal. First of all, we do encourage students to go for internship, whether you are on first degree, master degree, or PhD. Only on that note, for the first degree, we make it compulsory for you to go for an internship to help you to secure and get better employment. But for master's degree, you are more than welcome to go. And there are so many organizations are looking for master's degree holder as well as a PhD holder to become one of their interns. So never stop, never thinking, oh, there are industries looking for their first degree students. No, it's not. We at the ministry, we make it compulsory to the first degree students because PhD, go. Just go apply, because we do know there are organization, research institutions looking for masters and PhD students. Okay, so do not stop there. Just go.
All right. I guess nothing to add on. So, any other question, perhaps for the first round? Call in once, call in twice. Okay, I guess no. So I'll proceed with my second round. So keep your questions coming in along the way. We've done with all four panelists. I guess back to Encik Herman. As you address such issue of internship, etc., perhaps when you mention that the role of Capiti or MOHI is to keep the policies going on and implemented by the universities, what measures take place into ensuring that such policies are updated frequently to align with the current industry demand?
Okay, thank you, Faris. First of all, I think we are now basically very fortunate to have GECC to organize this kind of event and look at it very specifically. And I am very happy to know GECC come up with the idea to make sure every student has their own LinkedIn account to build the personal branding since day one when they enter the university. But for your information, to answer what Faiz has asked me, in the past, graduates employability just a matter and a topic for a discussions by higher education institutions. For instance, UM only has its first graduate employability center, if I'm not mistaken, in 2018, because I'm the one involved in making sure that center exists. Previously, it's just a matter. We have a center in UM. We have a center of counseling and career. So those counselors are looking after counseling portfolio, as well as providing career counseling to students. No one talk about graduate eligibility as heavy as we are right now. So over the years, the ministry uh, noticed about this, and we had issued an order to every higher education institutions to establish their own graduate employability center. Because why? There are so many other things lying underneath. It's just not getting industry to come to the campus, do some career fair, do some on-campus interview. It's just not that. We do treasure study, graduate treasure study every year, but who is responsible to look onto the element which program has a higher demand, higher employment, low demand, high employment, high demand, low employment. So who is in charge of looking after that kind of things? Nobody. Because we are busy doing our daily routine, ask industry to come on campus, offer interview, and on the surface. So to show that we are very serious, we make sure every higher education institutions establish their own GE centers to look after and to study what intervention has to be done from the day one. If I may share, I shared with the panelists colleague before. At MMU, they have this program. They call it industry cadet. So every student has to become a cadet to any industry related to their field. So they have to do that at the very beginning of their first semester. By first semester, they must look a company or an organizations to become a cadet to them. So over the years, so they're required to go and hours at the company or at the industry. Over the years, after 4 years program, they might have completed 100 hours. So that is a very good advantage to MMU. But in public universities, I yet to see that kind of program. Perhaps we have to go to that level instead. That's one. That's to show that how ministry and the government is very, very serious about making sure graduate capability is looking after by every higher education institutions. Second, at Students Affairs Department. So we make sure every Students Affairs Department establish the center and it's directly under the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Students Affairs, like GECC now at HEP of UM. And every graduate employability centers in the public universities, we gathered them under a council. We call it Majlis Pelancaran Grade 1. Previously, it doesn't exist because no one talk about this. When we talk about HEP is always activities, welfare, well-being, something like that, like what Ms. Fanny has shared. She had a very enjoyable 5 years in the campus, you see, because nobody talk about this. So this Majlis Pelancaran, headed by each individual pengarah Pusat Pelancaran, they sit and discuss matters how to intervene at the very beginning. So their inputs, their data, their suggestions, ideas will convey back to the ministry. So that's where we come up with the Graduates Employment Strategic Plan 2021-2025. So I suggest every higher education institution practitioners, when I say practitioners, it caters all. It caters admin and support staff, it caters academician, it caters researcher, and it also caters students. So you need to go and have a look to that strategic plan. Then you will have a better understanding where we are heading at until 2025. Even now, we are already look into 2026 to 2030 plan. So whatever interventions, whatever input ideas that we need to have, we need to table it right now. So I urge the participations of every HEP practitioner to provide the insights and inputs to the ministry and departments. Okay. By looking at our audience today, I see a few hands back there are first year. Correct? There are first year students in the room. Are you happy to be here? It's not a forceful attendance?
Married.
Huh?
Married.
To get married. Okay, whatever it is, whatever it is, you are doing a good job for your career planning. From my discussions with student leaders, because I'm from HEP, we often met student leaders. Okay, and from that discussions, many of them said it's a bit too late for them to do anything at their fourth and third year. Too late to do anything in terms of career planning in the campus. So students also need to basically play a role in this. But whenever the university or HEP put an advertisements to come for seminar, to come for conference like this, they are afraid to come. I don't know why. So how to educate our students to be more information driven, to be more career hungry, to be more ambitious, to be more competitiveness, to be more competitive. I basically, with 10 years experience in student affairs, I do not have exact formula to that. still until now, because I do not know what to offer anymore. And Faiz, I would like to take this opportunity to share what's coming to hit the students. Okay, definitely the audience here might not be directly impact of it, but anyone aware that the government is basically amended our code once again to promote students' empowerment. So the amendment is basically lifting the constraint of students' bodies managing their own finances. For the first time after 52 years. Because of why? We would like to see student bodies to learn managing their bodies like an enterprise or an entity, business entity. And I'm not shocked to hear when Mr. Chariza said students in Berkeley have their IPOs ready because they don't have any constraint. They can open and register a company while they are studying. In fact, we do promote our students to have a company while they study. We have cooperations with SSM, free registrations, but no taxes. Okay, let's go back to student bodies. We would like them to learn as early as possible how to manage business entities. When we talk about business entities, definitely managing finances. And we talk about managing finances, is definitely we need to manage our own account. So that's where, for the first time after 52 years, we allowing student bodies to manage their own account. I hope it's good news. Oh, it's bad news. Okay, now I would like to take some time to go to the student activities. My dear sisters and brothers, your CV, your resume, without any activities, is basically just an empty plain paper to Mr. Shamsa. Definitely, definitely, because student is already just a paper with a photo. Without activities, without commitment, without any responsibilities during your campus days, basically the paper is useless. So you need to have activities while you are in campus. Perhaps we're going to have another third female president from UM.
Happy to know.
Perhaps.
If you get it.
Perhaps. So you need to have that. So at HGP level, what do? We basically implementing one students, one activity. At least. Because in our graduate employability rates, under the strategic plan, we target to get 80% and above. So why the target 80% and above come at the first place? Because there are always 20% could not get employment in their first 6 months or 12 months after graduating. So we look at that and we see these are the graduates with empty details in their resume as well as their CVs. So from now on, open your LinkedIn account, get some activities, get to know Mr. Nazrul, get to know Mr. Charizal, link to them in your LinkedIn. You need to socialize more in your professional LinkedIn account. That's all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Herman. I think it's good to have such discussion. We got the first-hand information from Ministry of Higher Education and what plans coming in with the update on AUKU amendments, even perhaps more on this issue. Budget is about to table tomorrow, so yeah, perhaps more on this concern being addressed by the government and the ministry level. So whenever we say just now on the learning and skill set is such important, back on the talent corp role, Mr. Nazrul, I think despite of having only internships, what are the initiatives on the role of talent corp had to offer in terms of upskilling or reskilling, especially in meeting such demand from the industry in this competitive age of AI, etc. So anything to add on?
Thanks, Faiz. Macam ni kan, I mean the discussion is too heavy, right, for you. Maybe heavy, like everybody saying that it's just a paper. Then you start to think, then what's the point of you being here, right, in the first place? I mean, that's the world that we are living here. And I just want actually to, I just want our young talent actually to be a little bit wild, like what the Jariman mentioned just now, a little bit, to have higher level of curiosity. That's something that I think that we keep you survive in this world. And I would like to relate it to, because we look at macro level. And as I mentioned earlier, we did that impact study of AI, digital and green economy because we want to know, we spoke to Minister Steven Sim, so he was very concerned because the discussions like this, how ready would be our future workforce if the AI, digital and green economy come and attack us? How can actually we turn it into opportunity? So when we had that discussion with him, because Talent Corp is actually the think tank for the ministry, first we told him that we need to understand what would be the baseline first. Because for you actually to brave the world, you need to understand what is the problem statement. So that's how actually we come out with that impact study. So we did with 10 sectors first. 10 sectors, and how we chose these sectors, primarily the major sectors, major economic sectors in our country, is also based on the alignment with our national strategic document, their contribution to GDP, as well as the number of employees in the sector. And you name it, all the major sectors, bar oil and gas, because we are going to do oil and gas in the second phase. The rest of the major sectors are already in the first phase. So E&E, GBS, chemical, energy and power, wholesale and retail, just to name a few. So we have assessed 800 and, altogether, so they almost 950 role, 950 job role across these 10 sectors, out of which 889 are existing roles, and we have also identified 16 new emerging roles for these sectors. And we just want to understand, what will be the opportunity for us, and then what will be the challenges that we need to manage and maneuver. Out of which about 70% of this total role are potentially impacted by these three trends: AI, digital, and also green economy. And about 25% are highly impacted. Means that potentially, the role will be diminished in the next 3 to 5 years. And if you read recent news related to ByteDance, the TikTok parent company, they have just laid off 700 employees. So, these are the things that is coming. It's all not, it's not all bad in a way, because means that we now have a baseline for us to understand. Then it's for us actually to strategize how actually the country, the workforce, the talent pool actually want to move forward. So the strategy is actually, if you are highly impacted, then you need to plan for your pivoting and reskilling strategy. If you are in the mediumly impacted, then you can actually now actually think how you want to upskill yourself. So for example, in our study, position like CRM, Customer Relationship Manager, you are now dealing with all the platforms, right? The apps. Who do you deal with? Are you dealing with real human or you're dealing with bots? You have issue on Grab when you actually the live chat. who do you speak to actually? The bots, right? The bots. Okay. So the CRM, I mean, who was formerly actually the one who engaged with you actually to solve your problem, now, I mean, the role will be diminished. But it's not the end of the world, because as human, we have intelligent capability actually to pivot or to adopt. So the CRM now will be, is either they be the dispute resolution specialist, because when you have issue with the bots, you still need human to resolve the issue. So you then pivot to a new role called dispute resolution specialist. Or you become the bot trainer. The bot that is actually engaging with human, you need human actually to train it. So you pivot to become the bot trainer, because machine learning, the more you talk to the machine, the more they understand the subject, it becomes better. How many of you have ChatGPT on your phone? That's how you actually complete your assignment, right? How many of you are aware that you can actually train your GPT to draft input using your language? You know, everyone has different language style, right? Different style of writing. You can actually train your GPT to write according to your style of writing. There's a way of doing it. I've tried it, nearly get it. So it helps a lot on the speech, on the social media posting, because now it has learned how actually I do my speech, I post on social media. Why I'm saying that, you have that intelligence. As much as we are saying that you are another paper, but as a human being, we have that intelligence actually to adopt and always move forward. So that's what you learn in university. So I just want to tell Fanny that maybe you learn that biotech a little bit earlier, because one of the emerging job that we have identified coming from pharma sector is computational biologist. So it's an emerging job. So we have seen a job like live host, you know, TikTok shop. And you go into TikTok, the host, that's an emerging job. So coming back to what Talent Corp does, is actually we ensure that first, we unearth all this information for different stakeholders to use it and actually shift the whole landscape of the talent ecosystem. For the students, actually, we are going to launch a platform called My Mahe soon, by November. So all this input from this impact study will be then actually put into this platform, so that you can make full use of it. So the younger talent like you can go into the platform and understand where are the emerging jobs and where are the lowly impacted jobs, so that you can potentially plan that should be your career pathway. Okay, for the seniors who are already in the professional space, we can actually go in and identify whether the current role that we are holding is within the highly impacted role. If it's within the highly impacted role, then there will be suggestion based on the transferable skill set that you have. Actually, how can actually you pivot to other, for example, like I mentioned just now, example, the CRM. So, for the institutions, last time, your curriculum actually developed based on industry input, but it's most likely it's company-centric input, because the lecturers will engage with maybe a number of companies, you get the input and then you develop the curriculum. What we have done with this study is we ensure that it is not just company-based input, it's sectoral-based input. Means that for that particular sector, say E&E sector, we gather all the key players in the E&E sector to agree that this is our sector input. So when you curate your curriculum, it's based on the sector input rather than company-centric input. And for companies, how actually you can use this information, you look at your current workforce in your organization, you look at your job role in your organization. If majority of the role are within the highly impacted role, means that you are behind the curve. If majority of your role is in the lowly impacted or emerging job, means that you are ahead of the curve. And of course, for the government, actually, this is how actually we can actually now have sector-based policy based on the input. So I put it at macro level. We do a lot of things. Cik Shariman mentioned on entrepreneurship. We work with Cradle. We also have one Innovate program. We call it My Next Innovate program. In fact, one startup from by the name of Suara Duit joined the program. So it's a launchpad program together with Cradle. We put them on 6 months, going through masterclass for 6 months actually to establish a startup. And then after that, Cradle will then take them and bridge them to the ecosystem. So we are targeting that upon graduation, this is an exploratory project between Talentcorp and Cradle. We are targeting that, hoping that by the end of their graduation, they will be able to raise at least 1 to 2 million fund. So that's the vision that we have. But of course, it's exploratory. So we have about just 15 startups across universities, and for it's Suara Duit. So Suara Duit, what they are doing is actually they develop an apps to educate. You know the number of bankruptcy among the younger people, right? So that's actually their problem statement, and they would like to educate more younger talent actually to manage their spending and finance better. So that's Suara Duit that we are producing. So I'm saying that we are working at different verticals to ensure that, I mean, we don't want to produce just, there's many tracks. I mean, as you move in your career, there's many tracks. I mean, some will work 9 to 5, some will go into the rat race, we call it. Some create their own path. You go into your uncharted territory where actually you explore new things, you become the job creator. But most importantly is actually for you actually to really understand what is your purpose. What are the things that you want in your life? What are the value creation that you want to create for the people around you? I think that's super important, because with that clear purpose, regardless of your pathway that you are going to go in, you will succeed because you have a clear purpose. Say it if you have a clear purpose that you really want to help on policy development, because you want to actually impact many people. So you have a clear purpose. You find a way. Whether you are in the government, whether you are in the private sector, whether you are in a think tank, if you have a clear purpose actually to influence the policy making, you'll find a way. Some people say that, oh, if you want to change the policy, you need to join the government. Dr. Jasmine of Microsoft once actually told me that, hey, Nazrul, if you really want to change the ecosystem, you need not to join the government. I mean, she was from Microsoft, doing a lot of upskilling and reskilling from Microsoft certification program, influencing the government of how actually we should move our ICT policy, and she's working with Microsoft. She's not working with the government. So why I'm saying that it goes back to your purpose, and then whatever pathway that you are taking, you will succeed because you have that clear purpose. So I mean, relate back to Fai's question. I mean, you have that, and then you'll find a way. And from Talentcorp, we'll continue actually to be with you at every vertical actually to ensure that we are facilitating and supporting you. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Nazrul, for the insights. I think quite information loaded over here. So one thing students have access to, I think whatever we can go through on the internet, right? Try to keep updating, keep updated with the trends, with whatever plans, actions, or any other initiatives that such agencies are about to offer, and there are a lot more, to be frank. So, Ms. Fanit, quick one on you. What industry experience that perhaps during your years had the most impact on your career, and how perhaps you may share to the current students, perhaps how you relate to them back then?
You mean the experience in
Yeah, I mean,
what provides, or whatever experience?
Perhaps goes both ways. I mean, your own initiatives and what has provided along the way.
Okay, I'll make it fast. Of course, internship is very important. But if you look at the whole courses, there are some faculty that offer very, very short internship. It's about 6 weeks. Definitely not enough. It's really not enough. And I think those are the courses that perhaps from the university or from Senate level would have to look into that. I'm very sure science faculty until today is still 6 weeks. Beyond that, I also, I've seen a lot of my friends, not me personally, but outbound, going abroad. Cultural exchange is very important because sometimes the perspective of what you see in other countries, something that you can bring back and perhaps try and tailor and see how it suits to in the context of local market. If we talk about entrepreneurship, there's a lot of things out there. Photo booth, for example, started in Korea and doing really well, and now it's coming to Malaysia. Or photo studio, a lot of things actually are trends that we picked up. And most of it comes from students who studied overseas and they come back and they implement that in Malaysia. So if you have the chance to go abroad, very short cultural exchange or whatnot, take that opportunity and go. I didn't get to do that, but I had the chance to actually go a lot of international conferences. That helps me to also have network in overseas. And it's very useful now that I'm in an NGO, where we want to talk to our youth counterparts in other countries or ASEAN network. We built that since our university days. It helps us propel in terms of our network. In terms of programs, there's a lot of programs. You can be selective if you want to, but my advice to all of you is always go beyond your faculty. Make friends not only within your faculty. There's a lot of, I'm not sure if it's still in practice now, but during my time, you can take courses outside of your faculty. There's few credits for that. During my day, we don't actually recognize involvement in the student bodies as part of the credit, but I believe they do now, which is good. And one more thing, I think, my course, science, is quite strict. We are not able to take courses out of science faculty. There's 10 credit you still have to take within the science faculty. But I think what helps me the most, I grew up always in science stream. Never had an idea of what they actually learn in art stream. I took my chance to, the final 2 credits, I went for a geography subject in arts faculty. And that's the most impactful course that I've taken so far in my life because it studies a lot of, how we understand the demography in relation to economy. And a lot of science students, we don't have that kind of exposure. We don't know. And that's why it's very important to go beyond your faculty, go and explore new knowledge, new friends. And when we talk about network, it's very important that your network is not only your industry or the people that you know virtually on LinkedIn. Remember that your friend that you are being friend today from other faculty, they will also grow their career path. At one point of time, you will meet them again at a different standing in terms of career, and that will be the network that you planted 10 years before. So think forward when it comes to that. Yeah, that's my point. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Fanin. I think that's very insightful, especially. That's a key takeaway for the students nowadays, especially in building network and partnerships. So last but not least, to Mr. Shahrizal, I think tap on the same, resolving around the same aspects or angle as Ms. Fanin just now. But on you, how can universities create stronger partnerships with industries just to make sure their curriculum remain relevant, and goes vice versa? How industry also can work closely together with the institutions, learning institutions nowadays?
I think it's just more a case of constant sessions. There are a lot of industry organizations that have their own corporate universities. I do feel that universities would benefit from having partnerships with them as well, because it's talking about really taking what it is that you do in those organizations and to some extent using that as a case study to apply when you are in university. Right? I think sometimes we kind of like go and say, okay, so what do we want to know? I would encourage, at least when I was talking last week to the, there was a workshop that we did in Penang for the semiconductor environments, and we talked about maybe it would be a good idea for even the faculty to spend some time in the industry themselves, right? So that at least what you are teaching to your students is also based on things that you know is about. So I think it's more a case of just not taking the information, but also being a bit more immersive, because I think that would help. Kalau tidak, what's going to happen is, and I will just give you a very quick example. Sometimes if you're talking about the semiconductor industry, what we realized in some universities, because of budget constraints and whatnot, your ability to provide the kind of equipment to learn is maybe 5 to 10 years behind what the industry wants. So the shortcut, as we talked about here, is why don't we find the industry people who have the ability to provide the facilities for the faculty, you come in, and basically spend time doing that way. Because that way, as I said, it's about shortening the gap between education and employability, right? I mean, again, if we had scared you about you being a piece of paper, sorry jangan takut, but it's all about, at the end of the day, what do you do with that piece of paper? Right? Jafai talked about, activities. We just want to add color to basically what you have. And I think for someone who has to go, imagine again, as I say this as a as someone who does recruitment, sometimes you do have to go through hundreds of CVs to find the one or two that works. So the more color you have, the more innovative you become as a person inside there, the more I'll come out, right? But again, coming back to the universities, I think industries are ready. It's just that they've never been asked that point. Because again, if you ask me in Kazana, sometimes one of the things that we were doing last week is to say that actually the education system says, can you tell us what we need? And then so it's a question of how you kind of like expand on that definition of collaboration and to be able to provide a better landscape for eventually the students to be able to understand that this is the reality of what you go into when you start your job, right? Yeah. So that's one thing. I wanted to be able to just add and touch on some of these things. You have your program is called your deep dive, right? So I realized there wasn't a definition between the dive. And when I was here, I was just saying that if I can offer just as something, because I like to play with words, right? For the students inside here about to graduate, if you consider dive as something, maybe consider this. The D should be about how you really define what you want in your career. Not in your job, define what you want. Because it's not the job that you want, it's a career. You're going to be in something that's going to take roughly about 30 to 35 years, right? So define that. Then create an opportunity to invest or invent yourself as an individual, right? Vary your expectations based on those options. If you want to work with a bank, what exactly would that be, right? How do you present yourself? You want to work with Kazana, how would you position yourself, right? And then just kind of go and explore as many different people that you can meet with, right? Sorry, I'm just adding to that because like I said, sometimes consultants suka buat macam tu. So we have projects that people say, so what does that mean? So think about that, because sometimes if you think about it for yourself, it helps, right? Don't ask me to repeat myself, I will totally forget it. Right? But again, as I said, all of these things, you are going to make the next batch of people who sit here within the next few years. Right? So you might as well define basically what you want to say when you sit in this position. Right? So yeah, maybe just itu je to add. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Sharizal, for the closing remarks. So done with my second round. We have running out of time, but perhaps a little bit. I open to any question from the floor. All right, we got two. All right, boleh lah, one or two. Okay. Perhaps the white shirt first. Tell us your name, your year of study and faculty, and proceed with the question.
Good morning to all the panelists and the insights. Thanks for insight. And actually, my name is Lim Jia Chen. I call me Keaton as well. I'm from Faculty of Built Environment, Department of Quantity Surveying. So actually, just now, Tuan Hilman, right? The pegawai from KPE, he had mentioned topics which is
Oh, straight away. All right. Last one more question. We took all the questions and answers straight away.
Okay. Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is Hazim. I'm a final year student from the Faculty of Education. So I have two questions. The first one is, how does the ministry address high-skilled job with low entry pay, such as the engineering fields, where a lot of graduates tend to have low starting pay when they go into the field? And the second one, is it too late for an individual to change their career plan, where the career plan might not align with their degree? And if so, how do they start realizing it? Thank you.
All right, that's the questions. I think we paused the questions to any of the panelists that want to answer. So perhaps go with Cik Hirman first.
Okay, I would like to go with the AUKU amendments. Okay. Yes, I'm also happy to know that you are basically embracing the amendments. Um, but these amendments will go into phases of implementations. The first phase of implementations, we will give the autonomy only to MPP or student union first. Because from there, we would like to see whether the student union or MPP could manage it well or the other way around. So perhaps we're going to see from there, after a year perhaps, then it's going to be open to every student bodies. In UM, for example, the UM has around 120 student bodies comprising 100 to 200 members. So there is a large group of students who are very interested having organizational activities. So we want to cater that. So my answers to you, at the very early stage, we allow MPP and student union first. But they need to show a very good example. Because when we table it to the KPT, when we table it to the parliament, instead of many people are happy with the amendments, there are also some worriness among people about, can student manage their own finances? Can student body manage their own finances? And for that very reason, we come up with a very complete playbook, or what we call rules and regulation in managing internal resources and external resources. So do not worry. We will guide you through the process, but be patient. For now, it's only for MPP and student union. The second question is about activities. For your information, I think starting in 2022, we already embark on students empowerment, stage 1. What we call students empowerment stage 1, basically HCP is no longer in charge of approval of activities or program. Every activities which student bodies would like to have or would like to organize, MPP approve it, not HCP anymore. So we already asked HCP to let go that responsibility, because HCP now has a very important job to do to make sure students are employed instead of approving students' activities. So that role we passed to MPP already. Okay, so there is no more HCP approving programs or activities. If you would like to have an activities next week, you can apply now, MPP will approve it. So if there is any delay or any constraints, discuss with MPP. So that's what we do. Second, under stage 1, we also allow MPP to distribute funding. It's no longer HCP's job to give some fundings to student bodies or resident colleges. MPP decided. What university does, university provide some amount of budget, let's say 200,000. In case for UM instance, I think 100,000. But there are universities giving their MPPs 1.2 million. For example, UKM. UKM, HEP provides 1.2 million budget for MPP to distribute among student bodies and among students who need some budget. So that is happening already. The third empowerment under stage 1 is students having or organize their own campus elections, which started in UM in 2018. But in 2022, we have decided every university must make sure campus election organized fully by students. So that is 3 things under students empowerment. First agenda, stage 1, that is now taking place. Okay, so that is my answer to our dear brother over there. All right, that's my answers.
You have the exactly the approximately period that the MPP can open the account.
Oh, almost instantly, because the amendment has been gazetted on the 1st October. Last few weeks. It's gazetted already. So this coming MPP will be the first MPP who has their own bank account. So when it will happen, after they establish their students' government appointed by the VC, in the next 2 or 3 days, we will assist them to open their first account. But definitely they have to adhere to the rules and regulation that we have provided. So in next couple of weeks, my dear.
Yeah, no, only this. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, so the second question on the career swift, I think I'll open to any other panelists want to answer on that.
I think the first question was actually on the no salary, betul?
Yeah.
Correct. Uh, I mean, from overall perspective, the Ministry of Economy is looking at it. We have Dasar Gaji Progressive. We are piloting it. We have just completed with the first phase, and it's part of the assessment committee. Assessment committee to assess the effectiveness of the first phase. So, I mean, that's something that we are looking at. Uh, and of course, from student perspective, how actually you want to actually really plan. Uh, Most important is actually the the return of investment of education, right? So we keep on telling this. That's why we are actually, we fully support KPT when they are focusing on decent employment. So how KPT define decent employment is actually when you get a job that pay you at least 4,000 ringgit for starting salary. So what we can do is, because we have seen enough, the mismatch happen in many verticals. So one, the challenge that I mentioned earlier, that we are not producing or creating enough skilled jobs. That's first challenge that we need to face as a nation. And of course, it affects the younger talent a lot. Second, the mismatch of what is required by the industry versus what is actually offered by the students. So this is something that you also need to understand. If you are looking at certain profession, certain engineering field, for example, if you are in the E&E sector, you are an engineer. You know that you want to go into E&E sector. You should know that which part of E&E sector that pays you higher. So it is on the design and development part, the IC designer, the wafer fab engineers. I mean, they are paid higher. So even to a certain extent, I've seen cases now happening where your starting salary will be at 6,000 ringgit, for example. So I've seen that high of 6,000 ringgit, and I've seen also engineer paid at 2,000 ringgit, for example. So what differentiates these two engineers? So this is where actually, I mean, as a student, you need to really find the information, understand more, and ensure that you are well equipped to be in the 6,000 bracket. So this is something that a student actually, as I mentioned just now, if you are in the final 2 years of your study, you should have thought about it already. You identify what are the companies that you want to go in, and you know what is their starting salary. Go up to that level. Go to up the level where you can have a conversation with the company. So The first month, okay, second month, and then after that you go beyond 6 months, and after that your situation become harder and harder. The harder you are in that situation, so you will just, and then after that you simply grab whatever in front of you. So to avoid to be in that situation, you need to plan here, because now you have the time, because you are not under that tremendous pressure to get a job. So you have your time to plan. This is where I told you that you need to have that mindset. And the fact that you are here, and I'm not sure whether you're forced to be here, by the way, but just joking to Asni. But if you are here by choice, means that you have made the first step already. Means that you have that mindset that you want to progress. So it's not easy, like what Cik Iman mentioned just now. It is an era of information overload, and it's very hard to get attention. And the younger generation attention span is very, very short. It's super short because of the shorties, the short videos that we are watching. And even the older generation, the attention span is also becoming very, very short. So the fact that you can be here, stay for it, and capturing the input and asking questions means that you are on the right track. Only that now you need to find what will be the niche, what you need to do next, and plan for it. Okay, thanks.
Maybe just to close off on your second question. Don't be worried about what's the best time to change your career if it doesn't work out. If you find passion in something new, then go for it, right? I see too many people kind of like stuck in one job, and they basically spend 10 years doing the same thing and said, oh, I wish I would have done this, I wish I would have done that, right? If you feel that there are other opportunities you want to experiment, and then to go into it. There is no such thing as an answer. I wish I can give you a book to say, if you do not like your job within year 3, please go on here. There is no such thing, right? You need to follow your perspective and your passion. Because don't forget, as I said earlier, you're going to spend 30 years plus in that particular thing. You might as well do something you enjoy. If you can find that, then you will thrive, right? And always, as I started saying this, don't always assume that you're not always going to get that job with an employer. Think of whether or not you can be the employer for yourself, right? Maybe I'll just see whether you'd like to finish up.
No, I think Cik Charizal threw a very good point there. If I can echo a bit on that, is also when you say that you want to pivot, right, there must be a big reason. Define the purpose of changing, understanding why is very, very important. Curiosity really makes up the whole lot of conversation. Understanding why you want to pivot. What's the sudden change of passion? What do you really want in your life? To a certain extent, perhaps taking personality tests would help as well. It's a question that I would say it's not only for the younger generation. My peers is at a quarter life crisis now. Most of them are having the same thoughts, and it's normal for people to change their career in between. But once you define your purpose, it's also start charting the plan. If I want to go there, what are the skill set required where I am today? If you have, I understand today you have the profiling of the career, right? So knowing that if I want to go to the X amount of career and this is what it takes, so then start joining things that would build up my soft skill as a person so that I can then stand a chance to go there despite my degree is something that doesn't fit career. Building up soft skill is very important. And I think most of the conversation when we talk about youth now is a lot of people talk about nation building, go volunteer. Don't stick to whatever program that we have in the university and I volunteer myself for this program that university planned for me. Go out, if you have an idea, it may not be something that is profit driven, so you might not want to go to entrepreneurship yet. But perhaps to go out there, volunteer, or create your own NGO where you create value for the nation. That's what we also do in the Perdana Fellow Alumni Association. And part of the program that we have, if I can echo, continue from our conversation today, we talk about digital economy, green economy. These are part of the second economic takeoff. And that is something that we want to advocate to the youth in part of our Youth Economic Forum. which will be on 26 October. To all the youth here, it's free and it's targeted to all of you. The conversation are much more deep dive into each panel session, more opportunities to meet with the industry. Take the chance to be part of the volunteer team or be part of the attendance, gain more knowledge, get to know more friends out of UM. That's the most important part. Don't stay in your Bangsa bubble. We are already in Bangsa. Don't stay in the Bangsa bubble. Go out. Go see the world of different social standing. You will understand where you stand. Thank you.
All right, with that, I think remarks to the end of our session. Thank you so much to all four panelists. We are very honored to have all of you here. All right, and before I close the session, do not forget to keep the support going on to join any other upcoming programs under Career Deep Dive Month by GECC. And do not forget to follow and like GECC on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. With that, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you to all our panelists and our moderator for such an insightful and engaging discussion. I would like to request our panelists and moderator to remain on stage for the token of appreciation presentation. We kindly invite Dr. Hasniati Hamzah to present the token of appreciation to our panelists and moderator. Please welcome. Okay, firstly, I would like to invite Yang Berusaha Encik Hirman Awang, the Director of Student Affairs Department, Ministry of Higher Education. Next, Yang Berusaha Encik Nazrul Aziz, Group Chief Strategy Officer, Telecorp Corporation, Malaysia Berhad. Next, Yang Berusaha Encik Shahrizal Muhammad Sufyan, Executive Director, Strategic Human Capital Management, Khazanah Nasional Berhad. And lastly, Yang Berusaha Ms. Fanit Syara Kampon, Alumni of Universiti Malaya. Thank you. We will now have a group photo session with our VIPs and panelists. I would like to invite Dr. Hasniati and our panelists to join the student off stage for the photography session. All the students are, can you go to the center to take the pictures? And please stand up.